The significance of burping or belching. Burping or belching is the egress of trapped air from the upper gastrointestinal tract. The trapped air could be lying in the esophagus, what we call aerophagia or swallowing of the air, or it could have found its way through the lower esophageal sphincter into the stomach. Those two are the prime locations for the reservoir of trapped air that will be released through the muscular peristaltic contraction of the upper gastrointestinal tract through the contractions of the stomach and the esophagus. So, burp usually contains the same constitution of air, nitrogen, oxygen, as it is present in the environmental air, versus flatus, which is passed through the colon and rectum, also contains sulfur, which makes it malodorous, chiefly hydrogen sulfide, through the action of the fermenting bacteria in the colon. So, the significance of burp, it has two important connotations. One is the Ayurvedic, and the second is Upanishadic or spiritual, if you will. So, the Ayurvedic significance, you can understand individuals as sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic, which the Ayurveda will call them as yogi, bhogi, and rogi, respectively. Usually, you have to eat rice, rotis, in a quantity which is a little less than your appetite. So it's like having a balloon. If you consider the stomach to be a distensible balloon, stretchy, you don't want to keep eating and stretching the balloon. You have to eat 1 or 2 chapatis less than your appetite. That is the sattvic approach, the yogi approach. The bhogi will keep on eating till the stomach is totally stretched, and it sends signals to the brain, the stretching of the stomach, releasing ghrelin, that you have to stop eating. Then the bhogi stops. That's the rajasic guy, loves food. The third category is the rogi, tamasic guy, who will eat despite experiencing stretching of the stomach, discomfort. He will keep eating, what we call gluttony. That is the tamasic, because he has formed ingrained neuronal circuits. It could be because of addiction patterns of eating, could be because of depression, overeating. But despite the pain he inflicting on his stomach, he will keep eating. That's the rogi, tamasic. And that's why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Yuktahar viharasya, yukt cheshtasya karmsu, yukt swapna bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukha. You have to have restrictions on the amount you eat and sleep, because it's kind of a pratyahara, the voluntary restriction on the objects of sensual gratification, which builds character, personality, and leads to levitation of the spirit. So, another way to understand it is when in chapter 17, Krishna says, Yadagre Vishmiv Pariname Amritopamam Tat Sukham Satvikam Proktam Atma Buddhi Prasadjam. What sounds or what is perceived to be poisonous in the beginning and nectarish in the end, that quality or trait should be perceived as sattvic. विषय इंद्रिय संयोगाद यदग्रे अमृतोपमम परिणामे विषमेव तत्सुखम राजसम स्मृतम. Combination of vishaya, object of sensual gratification, and the indriya, sense, creating a bondage, creating instant pleasure, followed by long duration of pain, is hallmark of rajas, the bhogi. And the third category is rogi, which is tamasic, which is not listening to either of those two. So that tamasic individual will have indiscretion during eating, and he will have anubandhan chayam. Anubandhan chayam is breaking the bonds. That is the characteristic of the tamasic personality. That person, compared to the rajasic person who is Vishya Indriya Sanyogad Yadagre Amritopamam Pariname Vishnu Tat Sukham Rajasam Smritam Yadagre Chanubande Cha Sukhan Mohanmatmana Nidrala Se Pramad Uttam Tat Tam Samudaratam. So that person is tamasic who has broken disciplines and boundaries, and he is inflicting pain upon himself. That is the rogi. Now, how does burping come into these three individuals? The first subtle burp, which will most likely go unnoticed when you are eating, is the signal for the yogi to stop eating. He will still have a desire to eat, an appetite which can certainly handle almost twice as much as he has already eaten, but he stops then and there. Yukta har vihar rasya. So he is going to be restraining, because that is the amount of food he needs to keep the prana and the panch mahabhut active in his body. He is living not to eat, but he is eating just small amounts so that he can live. The second time the burp comes is when you have totally filled the stomach. When you have filled almost 3/4 of the stomach, you get this initial subtle yogic burp. Then comes the bhogic burp when you have totally filled the stomach. Now remember, stomach is a muscular organ. So if you disregard the second burp and keep on eating, the stomach is like a distensible balloon. It's a muscular organ. That's why if you eat, it will stretch to accommodate. But that's not the natural capacity. You are stretching a muscular bag so that you can fill in more stuff. And that is the hallmark of the rogi, tamasic, who is having total disregard for the disciplines, boundaries of the functional capability of his digestive system. And that's why he will be in miserable pain for hours after eating so much food, which we all have done if we have gone and eaten in buffets or overeaten something that was cooked and very delicious. But those are the times the burps come. Don't know if the third time there's enough space for air to burp out, so no more signals are needed because the system is crashing in case of a tamasic rogi who is overeating on a regular basis on every meal. So this is the Ayurvedic connotation. The yogi eating one meal, the rogi probably eating the bhogi eating probably 2 meals, and the rogi probably eating 3 or more meals, but also the amount that they eat. The amount is unlimited, indiscriminate in case of a tamasic rogi. Now, if we think about spiritually, during Ashtanga Yoga, you will have a lot of burping. You are not eating at this time. You are most likely empty stomach, but you are burping or belching, which is happening because the air that has been taken in, most likely during rapid eating, talking, sucking on hard candies, or in case of patients with sleep apnea, they wear a CPAP machine if they're on a ventilator. The air is forced into the esophagus, aerophagia. That air needs to come out, obviously, but natural tendency also, if you are not doing any of the above, small amounts of air might be there in the body because of the Vat Prakriti. And Ashtanga Yoga has multiple limbs which are effective in eliminating this air. Friends, as you know, Vata dosh is composed of air and ether. And air is what gives it kala or movement. And ether gives it the ruksha or the dryness, as well as the levity or the lightness. So when people are doing Ashtanga Yoga, things like Kumbhak Pranayam, as well as Pratyahara, as well as Dharana and Dhyana, all these four tend to eliminate the air from the esophagus into the through the mouth into the environment. And what essentially is happening is that contemplation liquidates vasana. So your ruminations, dhyana, if you're in deep dhyana, you will have burping. It's kind of burning of the karmas, the past karmas, because you are getting rid of these subconscious, primitive biological urges, emotions, if you will, trapped in the primitive brain. So you're changing your personality by getting rid of the samskaras and vasanas that have been deeply ingrained life after life into you by simply questioning the validity using the conscious brain. The conscious forebrain neocortex, developed through evolution, is counteracting the primitive reflex hippocampal brain, filled with emotions. Conscious brain is filled with thoughts. Subconscious brain is filled with emotions. Emotions make us feel a certain way. Thoughts make us think a certain way. Goal is to use the thoughts to negate, neutralize, buffer out all the emotions, because most of the emotions are responsible for the way we feel. Once you become stoic, like the Greek philosophers Marcus Aurelius, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle have talked in detail about Epictetus, we have become immune to the feelings. You acknowledge, okay, today my mind is feeling upset or resentful, but you don't identify with it. So slowly, the magnet of ego, which tries to stick on to the primitive brain emotions and make us feel down in the dumps, depressed, angry, fearful, becomes ineffective. So the way people respond to you or react to you doesn't have an effect on you. That is the level of sthit pragya or stoicism in Greek philosophy, sthit pragya in Gita. So you have to become sthit pragya by using dhyana. And one of the indicators that your dhyana is working is burping. Because when you are burping, you are converting the Vata dosh air. You are eliminating the Vata dosh air as burp while distilling the ether and the remaining Shuddha Vata into prana. And that prana will flow through the 72,000 nadis in a coordinated way, overcoming the bindus which are blocking the flow of nadis into the lowest generator of prana chakra called Muladhara. So that is where the prana taps on repeatedly on the door of the Muladhara at the root plexus, the lowest seventh chakra, and then it will break open the door of Muladhara to allow influx of prana, which will have to flow through these chakras and eventually reach the Sahasrara. Sushumna vadan bhitva sukhad vishati maruta. So there is Hatha Yoga Pradipika saying the kumbhak helps you distill the prana which will knock the door of Sushumna, which is Muladhara, and you will have immense pleasure as the air, the distilled air, which is now called prana, the vata has been converted into prana, enters. So burping just tells you that you are distilling your vata to make it into prana, which is trying to enter the sushumna, and you will succeed one day. But in the process, the byproduct of belch or air is being released. And not only it purifies your subtle body, it purifies your gross body, because when the vat is decreased, vat is responsible for all the degeneration. When the vat is decreased, you are getting rid of the excess air. You are making yourself more prone to kapha, which is youth. That's why the yogis look so youth. And of course, if they have the trifecta of oj, tej and pran coming from kapha, pitta and vat respectively, they will be looking dynamic, magnanimous personalities, because they have burned all their karmas using all these modalities of Ashtanga Yoga. And sometimes you will see burping can happen if you are listening to some satsang and you are very influenced by the speaker, or even during dharana when you are reciting your bij mantra or chanting. But very commonly it will happen during dhyana when you are trying to eliminate some of the thoughts, or I should say emotions, using the thoughts and then burning the thoughts itself, because you want to see the nirakar, unmanifest version, which is the highest version of Brahman. So my friends, to sum it up, the burping is the release of trapped air from stomach and esophagus, which can happen during eating as well as during performance of Ashtanga Yoga. During eating, it is an indication to stop eating. Yogis, bhogis and rogis represent sattvic, rajasic and tamasic tendency in the individual who is eating. And if you eat early, if you stop eating at the first instance of a burp, you are close to being the sattvic yogi, whereas continuing to eat makes you a bhogi, and eating despite all the pain and suffering makes you a rogi. Also, the burping can happen spontaneously when the stomach is empty, because the vata dosh is being purified and distilled into prana, which is flowing through the nadis to enter the generator muladhara, which will allow the entry or influx of prana to flow into the central tube of Sushumna, finally reach the Sahasrara one day. However, the residue, while you are doing this, using the yantra, if you will, the yantra of dharana, dhyana, pratyahara, kumbha, pranayam, these four yantras, that process is producing the residue of belch or air, which is egressed naturally through the upper esophageal peristaltic activity. So, belching is a good indication that you are purifying your vat to form prana, at the same time getting rid of some karma bandhans, so that you have to have lesser reincarnations over time and you will be more happy in your Sukshma Sharir. Burping is an indication of the intricate connection between the brain and the stomach, the Manomai Sharir and the Annamai Sharir. Burping shows that if you change your desires, thoughts and emotions, you are going to strengthen the Agni in the stomach, which has higher digestive capability and has the ability to eliminate what it does not need in the form of excess vata that is being eliminated as burp. So keep doing all the four elements of Ashtanga Yoga: Kumbhak, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana and Dhyana, and all these will lead to purification of the doshas, chiefly the Vata dosh, which will be eliminated as Vayu and retained as Prana to elevate our personality and hopefully attain liberation one day. Jai Shri Ram.